Hi and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be talking about how to deal with anxiety and avoidance, and we'll be going through ways of coping with various situations. Looking back at my past, I find that there have been many times in my life when I have avoided facing certain things, such as being in crowded spaces or having to deliver a presentation in front of others, for example. And although the preferred option is to avoid stressful events such as these, I find it important to remind myself that I do have a choice to face the situation instead of running away. In fact, every time I go through with it, I usually go on to have a valuable experience that I've often learned a good deal from. There are also times when certain things should not be avoided. For example, if one has a job interview or an appointment with a dentist, chances are that we might not want to skip those, as they are in our best interest to go through. Depending on the situation, let's look at the various coping methods. Just say that I had committed to an event that I could not miss, but felt dread towards. I find that one of the best ways to deal with the feeling of avoidance is to mentally prepare for the situation ahead of time. If that came in the form of a test or an exam, for example, I would make sure to study and prepare for it as much as possible, as this would not only improve the chances of passing the test, but will also give a sense of confidence in knowing that the odds of passing have improved. Assuming that one has already prepared, but there remains a sense of fear and avoidance as the event is nearing, a good coping method would be to rely on the technique like square breathing, which is a method that is commonly used to reduce anxiety and stress. This technique involves directing one's focus to a controlled form of breathing, which I have explained in detail in my recent video, which I will make available in the description below. Another good way of coping with avoidance of a situation is to accept whatever outcome might result from it, whether positive or negative. In fact, both preparation and acceptance have helped me a great deal in going through stressful situations in the past. There may be times, though, when it may not be possible to prepare, as we may not be able to know the outcome of certain situations. In which case, I find it important to learn from the events after they have taken place. For example, say if I were driving and due to not having been aware for that particular moment, I were to cut in front of another car, I might receive an unintended result of getting honked at or even shouted at by another driver. This could create a negative experience that would make me feel fear of it repeating, which would only reinforce my anxiety and avoidance. Or it could get me to reflect on the situation and motivate me to find ways to actively reduce the likelihood of the situation reoccurring in future. In fact, I found that by actively preparing myself with solutions to counter what had previously caused my anxiety has been a great way to reduce avoidance while also building trust in my ability to cope. The last method for dealing with avoidance that I will share with you today is to believe in yourself. And I say this because I trust that all of us have an inbuilt desire to live and to succeed in life, although it may be dampened at times by anxiety or stress. But at the end of the day, when it matters most, all of us have it in us to face situations in life that require us to, and to find ways to improve ourselves along the way. The catch, however, is that in order to believe in yourself, you need to prove yourself capable of making the right choices. As one quote goes, "Believe in yourself, and you will realize that even those small steps taken in the right direction can produce great results." This brings me to the end of this video. Next time, I'll be talking about anxiety and the benefit of comfort zones and personal space as a means of coping with stress. Until then, thank you for watching, and see you next time.